In the last episode, I detailed my journey through an opening cinematic, the creation of a legend, a long queue time, and an epic battle that took place between my captain and I. In this video, I will show you my journey from level 1 to 10 and choosing my faction. It all started when I loaded into the starting zone of First Light. I typed a greeting to the other players in my server and ran up a hill to get my first quest, where I talked to Nora Lynch. She told me I was a drowned sailor rat, that I was better off than the rest of my crew. She then explained who she was, and I completed my first quest, rewarding me with a prized possession known as the Duelist Boots. After telling me about the land I was on, known as Eternum, she told me to go kill some more sailors that were already dead and investigate a shipwreck. After killing 3 drowned mariners with ease, I returned to Nora to my turn on my quest. Completing this quest, I was rewarded with the Duelist Pants. I was then told to go gather wood and flint to then craft a flint skinning knife. While I was back at Nora's camp, however, I saw a page and decided to click on it. It told me some random things, and I continued on with my normal business. After talking to Nora once more, she told me to go kill and skin a boar. After completing this task, I then went to cook a light ration by the fire. This then leveled my cooking to level 1, unlocking me the energizing ration and the travel ration. I was then tasked once again by Nora, this time sending me across First Light to look at multiple shipwrecks. After finding multiple different items from multiple different shipwrecks in multiple different locations, I once again returned to Nora, halfway in a different location in First Light. Oh, I also got a hammer at some point. I'm too lazy to change this incredible script. I mean, you can just tell this is incredible. I mean, you guys are clearly following along so well. I mean, I've never written something better in my life, but I'm not gonna change it and try to find when this happened. So, just gonna have to deal with it. Turning this quest, I received a bow, and you know, most bows in games really fun to do a lot of damage, great bow mechanics, very fun in general. But now you see in New World, bows are a little bit different. Not only are they not fun to play with and use, they do no damage at all. So I had to whip back out my favorite weapon, which is the hammer, and just do some cool tricks and stuff. I mean, just look at this stuff. I mean, look at those abilities. They're so cool. After getting a bit sidetracked, I headed towards a cave I was told to investigate. Killing more undead sailors, I found a wall of corruption, or in the game it was called a veil. Breaking this led me to another room where I killed a boss with the help of many other players. I actually didn't realize I needed to kill that boss, and I was just supposed to pick something else, so I spent 5 minutes trying to find the quest item where the marker said it would be, only to then realize 5 minutes later that I would actually need to kill this guy that kept spawning and that everyone else was killing. Some would say I'm ignorant or stupid, and he would be absolutely right. After killing this corrupted Chamberlain, I then started to walk all the way back to Nora. After turning in the quest, I reached level 6. Accepting the next quest, I was told to open my map, revealing no if action influence, which later you will see will change. I was then forced to talk to Sylvia Oaks halfway across First Light in the main settlement. Now, I don't know about you, but I like to kill things. I don't like to walk, right? Why can't you just give me things to kill? It'd be much more fun. I don't know though. But now, halfway through this hike, I meet a hapless hoe on the side of the road. He then told me to collect 5 delicious truffles in a jungle to my right. I think it's a jungle, it looks like it. There's boars in it, players all trying to find the delicious truffles. After some time, I finally managed to get all 5 of them. It took a lot of fighting, but usually you just wait for the boar to attack the players so they can't collect the truffles, and then you just collect the truffle while they're killing the boar. Happened to me, I did it to 5 other dudes. It worked out well for me. I don't know about the other guys though. After finally collecting these 5 rare treats, I completed the quest and walked back to where the man used to be. I couldn't find him. He apparently was now in the settlement, so after walking another moderate distance, I finally reached the First Light settlement. And yeah, that's what it's called. For some reason, Amazon just couldn't name these settlements like any other game would. I don't know why. Why? Though, please, just name them. It's not that difficult. It just adds so much more immersion to the game. Now, after reaching the gates, I saw the man on the inside of the gates and gave him the 5 truffles, which gave me some green gloves, which I think were worse. No, I didn't really know much about how the gear worked then, but I equipped them anyway because they were green, looked cool. And they were light too, so I wanted to be able to move around better. I don't want to wear heavy items. In the center of the town, I found a well, which gave me 17 water, all of which would come in handy later in my questing experience. I then finally talked to Sylvia Oaks, turning in my quest titled Storms on the Horizon. After talking to her once more, she sent me to Gladys Bond, who then told me about First Light. After giving me an axe, she sent me around the town to meet different people, First was the innkeeper. I was then able to check in and set my recall point. Next was the storage shed and trading post, 2 locations I would come to use frequently. After milking a cow, I then went to the storage shed, deposited the items I didn't need, and returned to Gladys Bond, who then sent me back to Sylvia Oaks, who told me to then gather different resources I needed for the town. And they're just sending me to do all the dirty work for them. They don't want to do anything, they're lazy. After gathering the resources I need, I then went to different workshops to craft them into other items that the town actually needed, not the raw resource. And then once I completed that quest, I logged off for the night. Now the next day, I turned in my quest I completed the night prior and got to work leveling to 10. Now some of you may wonder why I'm leveling so slowly, and I must complain about something you should all know. If you are standing, I'm gonna have to ask you to sit down. Make sure you're upright, and as this is gonna hit hard. If you cannot handle what I'm about to tell you, I'm going to ask you to close the video. Now assuming you want to hear what I have to say, I'm going to have to stop wasting your time and explain it now. Well, you see, the problem with my slow leveling is caused by the fact that I actually, hurts to say, I have a life. Now I know this is a shocker to a lot of you MMO players, and I apologize deeply for having one, but it's kind of hard for me to not have one because, I mean, it's not hard, I just choose to, but, oh well. This then caused me to take so long to level, but, yeah, some of you may say slow and steady wins the race, but that just simply is not true. The faster you go, the less of a life you have, the faster you are. That's just how it is. Back to what I was doing. After talking with Gladys Bond, she sent me to talk to someone whose name sounded quite familiar to the leader of a democratic republic in Asia. You know who I'm talking about. After talking with Kim, he agreed to teach me how to craft an iron blade. After gathering the materials necessary, which in fact had been placed in my inventory, I went to the forge to, you guessed it, forge my weapon. After being granted a green iron longsword at the cleric, I returned to Kim to tell him of the great news. He told me of a potent aura I had, and sent me to talk to Albert Riches. Talking with this man, he told me about his skills of survival, and what I needed to do to reach those levels. To see if I had what it takes, he sent me out into the wilderness to, you guessed it, once again, survive. After setting up camp, I cooked some rations and headed for Hallowing Falls. During my journey, I died for the first time, which gave me the choice of where to respawn. Frankly, I chose my camp, as it was the closest location, and once again began my trek. After reaching my needed location, I then began to kill 6 howler wolves, all of which provided no challenge to me. After killing those wolves, I was then sent to a den, of which I killed 3 full moon wolves and many turkeys. After killing one of these turkeys, however, I was granted a rare piece of meat, sadly of which I cannot find the recording of. I don't know why. I don't remember when I got it. I'm pretty sure I got it then, but I don't know. NVIDIA sometimes messes up longer recordings. These are like hour-long play sessions, so I don't know. Running back to the settlement, I opened up my map to see 3 zones, all highlighted in different colors. These colors represented different influence by different factions. There were 3 factions in this game, each one had 1 zone. The green was the Marauders, the purple was the Syndicate, and the gold was the Covenant. I then saw I was currently in the Covenant-controlled zone, controlled by a guild known as the Golden Crusade. Running back to the settlement, I then noticed the taxes that were placed upon it, and immediately knew the injustice of power that had come. Pushing this rage aside, I once talked again to Albert Riches and turned in my quest, granting me the Iron Life Staff, which had the ability to heal both me and other players, hence the name. I was then sent back to Gladys Bond, who then told me to go meet with the 3 faction representatives. The first representative I met was Elijah Eldwin of the Marauders, a badass faction full of pirate-esque figures and themes, a faction I was keen to join. Next I met with Ursula Long, or have we, I don't know, why do you... Of course, there are the Syndicate, the hypocrites and cultists. I don't know, man. You pronounce it how you want. I don't know. These guys are kind of strange. This faction is full of masses, but most people I'd seen in this faction did not have the highest skill level. And then finally, I met with Simon Jeffrey of the Covenant. Now, you see, this faction would have been cool if Amazon based it more off of the Paladins from World of Warcraft, rather than making them a bunch of uncanny cult-like members who always talk about a spark, which created hope, of which the Covenant spreads to everyone it nourishes. I don't know, man. It just seems like they needed a third faction and wanted to make like a more holy faction, but they really failed at doing so. Now, returning to Gladys Bond, she then told me of the annoyance of how much influence the factions have come to create in recent times, and recommended me to join one. I knew the Marauders were for me. Okay, so, here's my thinking. I think I'm gonna do Marauders, just because they're, like, cool military guys. The Syndicate, I'm kind of more similar to in real life and stuff, but, I mean, I don't want to be a hypocrite. I don't want to be, like, some weak guy. Like, I like the secretive part, but I don't know, they're kind of weird. The Covenants, I don't know, I don't want to be the Covenants between Syndicate and Marauders, but Marauders just seem so much cooler. I mean, look at that dude. I just want to kill people. That's what I want to do. I just want to kill things. Just get like in my massive hammer and sword, just whack things. That's what I want to do. So we're gonna go Marauder.
Who's this bold warrior that approaches? Perhaps one who wants to better themselves. One who seeks valor and discipline as the highest virtues.
After making my decision, I talked with Elijah Edwin to be welcomed into the Marauders. I then proceeded to click through all the information about the factions, wars, PvP, involvement, etc. And then finally, I confirm my allegiance to the Marauders and proceed with my initiation.